Feeling disconnected from Allah? Too busy for prayer? Need mindfulness but don't know where to start? Assalamu alaikum, beautiful souls. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm excited to share with you my latest passion project, the Plug into Allah journal. So grab a coffee, grab a seat. We're gonna do some makeup today, even though I'm going nowhere, and talk about what this devotional prayer journal is for Muslims and Christian reverts and non-praying Muslims, and where it's at, where it's available, and the whys and hows. Check us out on our podcast, Etsy, Amazon, Facebook. It's under the brand name Islam for the Rest of Us. So if you don't fit into the regular Islamic girly category, this is for you. Okay, so again, makeup, talk about this journal. So far I'm just grabbing a rose water wet wipe to wipe off my face. I've already washed it and done all that awesome, amazing stuff. My glasses are from Zelo. So I'm Yazzo, Y-A-Z-Z-O, short for Yasmina and Zoe, which is my last name. And I have read a wonderful book called the 5-Minute Daily Prayer Journal by Jocasta Odom. It is awesome and it's somewhere. And I really wish that we had it for Muslims. So how the structure is it starts off with like a biblical quote, and afterwards is like a reflection, like a commentary on the quote, and then afterwards is a question about how you can apply this or how you can use it in your own life, and then it ends with you can put your own prayers and dua and supplication. Right now I'm using medium beige for concealer, as well as I can't even see without my glasses on, to use it as eyeshadow base. So I'm not even going to try to pretend. So yes, I read that and it really helped me. I was in an HBCU, which, if you know, HBCUs are nightmares. I was in an HBCU for grad school. It was a horror nightmare. Like, it was a cesspool for Satan, and I just can't say enough about how bad it was. So I really needed help, and one day I was at Five Below and I saw it and I read it, and it really helped me rely and lean into Allah again and reconnect with our Lord and just provide that support and reminders of His promises to us and how He takes care of us, and all those really good things. And so I've had it for years. I think I've had it for 3 years. I've purchased it 3 times. I've gifted it to other people because I love it that much. But I was sad because, again, you know, as Muslims, we don't at all believe that Jesus is God. We just believe that He's a prophet and one of the, I guess you could say, higher prophets. So I got upset because, like, you know, all these Bible verses are saying, you know, through Jesus, which I understand, because in the biblical version of things, it's, you know, no one accesses the Father except through me. And so if you're believing what is written, you know, it would make sense what you were thinking and how things are written. But for Muslims, we don't believe the same, but I still wanted all these assurances that God has for us, whether you're a Jew or a Christian or a Muslim. So what I did, this journal has your Quran, your Hadith, your reflective commentary, supportive, motivational, and then that question for the week to help you be mindful. And then finally, you can write your du'as and your supplications and your prayers at the bottom. So it's modern worship, modern dhikr for our millennials, our Gen Z, all the girlies out there who are on the run or super stressed or super busy. This is for you. So I made this journal. I did Quran. What makes it special or very unique is it's to bridge the gap for Christian reverts from Christianity to Islam, help smooth it out. So in the reflections, if there is a supporting biblical verse or a biblical verse that's kind of along the same lines, it's also kind of paraphrased or summarized and included. And it's like really beautiful because some of, like, you know, who God says He is and His promises to us, they're consistent across, you know, all of the Abrahamic faiths. And it's just really beautiful when, like, God takes the time out to really hone in one of His qualities by repeating it multiple times over multiple religions. And I just love that. Also for du'as, I find writing them down helps me not just, I mean, I talk to God all day, it's like a running monologue, helps me not just like connect and plug into Him, but writing it down helps me do it, you know, every day, and it keeps you focused. I don't want to use the word manifestations, but it's like affirmations, and, you know, keeping it at the forefront of your mind, focusing on solutions and not problems. So I find writing du'as are like chef's kiss, especially when you have it next to the Quran verse that's inspiring you, next to a reflective verse. And the book and the journal is like me talking to you or a friend talking to you and asking you these questions. Oh wow, I blended that out really nice for not having glasses or contacts. I can't see anything. So that's what I have to say about that. I think we'll just do a low-key look today. We're not going to go crazy. So that's how the structure is. So that's the structure. So Quran, Hadith, some commentary, reflection, and then a space for you to respond to, the reflective question, as well as space for you to write your du'as as well, because it's really good when you can get it out and write it out. I know this pink one is somewhere. I didn't organize before I started this video because I was like, I'm too tired to try to do all of that, so we ain't gonna do it. Oh, but here, nope, it was in here and it's no longer in here. This is like a really cute little bow thing. Okay, back to our scheduled content. So that's the whys of what I made it. So I made it because there's so many Christian devotionals is what I call them. They're daily prayer journals that have this format. And there wasn't, at least to my knowledge, if there is one, please let me know, an Islamic version. And that really just broke my heart because I love it. I love having that, reading the Quran. I love having those reminders. I love having that discussion and learning about how other ways people look at God, and how supportive it is and comforting in stressing times. But you're also doing your dhikr and your remembrance and your ibadah while you're reading this journal, while you're writing, while you're making dua, and it's like really beautiful way to pull that all in. Our religion is meant to, or designed to kind of grow as our generations grow, and to quote the Christians, the church has to grow younger. And I think in Islam the church doesn't grow younger, so to speak. It's very set to, this is what the Prophet, peace be upon him, said is how we do ibadah, this is how we worship, and nobody ever goes beyond that to have additional ways. So I'm not saying don't make your salah, by all means, do your 5 prayers, do more than that, within reason, while still having balance. I'm just saying, if you need a little extra something, or you're not feeling connected in your prayers, or you're going through a stressful time and you need to journal for your mental health, or you need to journal for stress management, this would definitely be the time or the way to do it in this sense. Alright, so this beautifully designed Islamic mindful journal helps you connect and cultivate a deeper connection with Allah, reduces stress, and increases self-awareness. So with 32 weeks of guided prayers, dua, reflections, this journal is perfect for our Christian reverts seeking spiritual guidance, non-praying Muslims wanting to reconnect with Allah, and anyone looking for mindful spiritual practice. So it's a really good for anyone. Just like how makeup enhances our outer beauty, this journal is going to nourish your inner spirit, inside and out. Okay, so really great stuff. As I apply this pink eyeshadow, I'm like trying to read the prompter and apply this eyeshadow, and I don't have glasses or contacts, and it's whoo-wee, it is a miracle. So let me just pause this for a second. Okay, I think that's good. The one eyeshadow is all the way up because, again, we're trying to multitask for somebody who can't even task. So while I blend this out and do the eyeshadow portion, which is what I gotta have focus on, where I can't have my glasses on. So to tell you a little about me, I turned 29 in April. So last year in my 20s, very exciting. I used to be one of those people that did not like to grow older, but when you, and I think a lot of people who have depression that overcame depression, or got medication and got help, every day that you have on this world that you decide to stay in it should be celebrated, and birthdays should be celebrated because it's a victory that no matter how hard the year got, you decided to tough it out and stay, which is good. Go you. So 29 years old, I was born and raised in, Lord God have mercy, I was born and raised in Las Vegas. Now there's something in my eye. I was born and raised in Las Vegas and stayed there, finished high school, And for college, I really wanted somewhere warm. So I ended up going to Florida, and then West Palm Beach had the, Palm Beach Atlantic University had the best scholarship package and best cost for tuition. So that is where I went for college, was West Palm Beach, Florida. I went to a Christian university, and I know people probably think it's weird for a Muslim to go to a Christian university, which there were other Muslim girls, more like Arab girls, Middle Eastern Arab ones, and which is perfect because, like, you know, boys aren't allowed in the dorm. If you do have a boy, you need to submit your marriage certificate and your marriage license. So it's very, you know, protect the V card. But what I liked about it was it really, like, opened my mind to the Lord. Like, my relationship with God, you know, I was one of those kids where it was, like, really great, and then as a teenager and life got harder, my stepmom got more horrible, I fell off. And so going at this Christian university really helped build this core foundation, because after I graduated college, I was one of the overqualified and underemployed or unemployed, and had no money, no car, no friends, no man, and trapped in the house. And so my iman and, like, my faith, and I really just had a lot of anger and sadness and despondency. And so I wouldn't even say I was, like, a religious person at all during that time. But what allowed me to bounce back was having, you know, Christian friends from a Christian university, and having that Christian background really helped and gave me a solid iman that no matter how bad things got, you know, I still believed in the Lord and reached out and called out to him, especially with the help of Jocasta Odom's 5-minute daily prayer journal, which is why I wrote Plug Into Allah, the mindfulness and dua prayer journal for Christian reverts and non-praying Muslims, which is available on Etsy, PDF. You can download the sample PDF. It's $5 just so you can see if you like it. You know, I think there's about 15 pages in the sample. See if you like it. If not, if you do like it, on Amazon it should be dropping at the end of May. And then that's the full paperback PDF as well as the Kindle version. You can write on it to your heart's content. So I don't really make much of a profit. As all Muslims, believe Allah is my supply, so I just believe that, you know, as long as I have good intentions, that the Lord will reward me for this act and will provide for me and make a way out of no way. So yes. So I went to Palm Beach Atlantic University from Las Vegas, 29. Been single all my life, never had a boyfriend or anyone to love me. So, and then in addition to that, my last job was being a government scientist for the state of Florida. Sorry, my hair's a little weird underneath my headscarf. In the state of Florida. I loved my job, but 10 days before Thanksgiving, they laid myself and 4 others off, and that was the end of that. I was a microbiologist. I absolutely loved and adored my job more than anything in the world. I felt so grateful every day that I got to be a laboratorian and work in the lab. Due to the time of year, I was not able to get another job in Florida, in Tampa, which has the biggest Muslim population in all of Florida. So I lost my home, and now I'm living with my mom in a very remote town in the southern portion of the United States. So yes, that was really sad, big sad. My high school, it was a medical magnet academy. I specialized in sports medicine and did a lot of athletic training hours. So I'm pretty good at doing orthopedic evaluation and assessment, as well as rehabilitation and therapeutic exercise, as well as therapeutic modalities. So I'm a big STEM and medicine girl. And you're probably wondering what is here, and the thing is, in life you have to do what's going to make you money, not what you went to school for. So unfortunately, when I interview for STEM and laboratory work, they are afraid of me and ask me, how do we know you're not going to go back and work in sports medicine? When I do healthcare and like medical research and clinical trials, they ask me, well, how do we know you're not going to go back and work for the laboratory? And it's really effing frustrating that because I have too many skills and because I'm too smart and too able is the reason why I can't get a job. So I'm taking the Coursera digital marketing online class, and doing that, and of course with that it gives you so many ideas and tools. I'm like, well, instead of just learning this stuff so I can work for somebody else, like, let me do it for myself, to work for myself, all that good jazz. I'm sorry, this is bothering me. So that's what I'm doing right now. So I don't know if digital marketing is gonna pay off. This journal is very niche. It's extraordinary niche, to the point where there may be no niche. There may be nobody in the niche except for me. And so in that case, if things don't go well, it is what it is. I know that I tried, and maybe one day there will be somebody in 20 years that stumbles across the Etsy PDF, and it helps them and it enlightens them and it does everything it's supposed to be. But I had to do it for, myself, and for the chance that if there was even just one person that felt the same way that I do, for them. And that's who I do it for. And of course, for the glory of God, of course, why else do we do anything? Okay. So that was that part so much. Okay. So went to Medical Magnet High School from Vegas. Went to West Palm Beach, Florida, to Palm Beach Atlantic Christian University, majored in exercise science. When I saw that that was a useless degree and that I was not going to get into PA school, I strove hard to get a minor in biology, which is where I got my laboratory skills from. So I did teach at a community college for one semester. They only, for adjuncts, it's just as you're needed, and if they don't have the enrollment to need you, then they're not going to have you come back, because they don't have enough students enrolled in classes to justify having the personnel. Basically there'd be a teacher and no one to teach. So yeah, that was fun. I really do enjoy teaching. I come from a very long line of educators, so teaching kind of runs in our blood, so to speak. As far as writing, I had a very awesome AP language and comp teacher in high school. Unfortunately, she passed away, which breaks my heart, but I feel good when I can bring honor to her name and to her legacy by writing or teaching other people how to write. Now, this journal is not necessarily meant to be a literary work of art. It's not meant to be literary gold and full of purple prose and rhetoric. It is more honest. It's very informally written. I wanted to dip my toe in the water, so to speak, before I went all in, and make sure that there was an audience for this journal. So I just picked my target audience to be reluctant Muslims, and not necessarily reluctant, but the Muslims that every other Muslim hates, that the Muslim that other Muslims dare say, well, you're not Muslim enough to qualify. It's for them. So Islam for the rest of us is about being authentically you. You were made with a purpose by God, and you weren't made to be like everyone else, because then you would have the same deficits as everybody else. You bring a unique skill set to the table that Allah needs to utilize to serve Him and to serve His creation. And if you focused so much on how you are not like other Muslims, you would miss out on what you're supposed to do as a Muslim for Allah. Bad for research. Sorry if that eyeliner is not on straight. So that's really passionate to me, because growing up Arab, and growing up with dark brown skin, a nose that they consider too big because you're half black, being taller than everybody else, having darker skin, curly hair, you just get hated on so much by your Arab Muslim family, which is, horrible. And it can definitely rob you, and robbed me of my sense of identity and who I was and what I was supposed to do. And some of that I'll never get back, unfortunately, and it's just gone forever. But I focus now on what I'm about to tell you, which is God will use you even if for your weaknesses and your indeficiencies. So my family's from Tangier, Morocco. Salam, ahlan, kif tina, labas alik, bikhair. Saha labas. No, I do speak North African Arabic. It's just very much so Tangier Arabic. So anyways, Tangier, very hilly, very mountainous. My mom wanted these olives, and the souk, the man that sells such things, up on the hill, you know, mountainous area. So as I'm climbing, you know, through the hills in the mountainous area, through like this flea market. I mean, it's metropolitanized, but Tangier's in the mountains. I just get super exhausted. Like my calves and hamstrings start to lock up. It's sunny, the sun is beating down on your face, and I just told my cousin, I'm like, I have to sit. And so I sit down, and I'm just hating on myself while I'm sitting, that like hating on myself that I'm obese, that I have to sit, that I don't have the stamina, just hating myself. And as I'm sitting here, walks by 3 boys. They're holding the middle boy up, and he has this gnarly gash on the bottom of his foot. And me, being the medical personnel that I am, or you know, volunteer at least, I carry like a mini bag of supplies everywhere I go. Medicines, band-aids, ointments, you name it. And I carried travel size, like the little Medi First packets you can buy of it. And so, of course, I approached them, asked them for help, and, you know, gave them the supplies I had so that they could help him. I was like a little too shy to like actually help him myself, and I didn't have gloves. And just after that experience, I just thought to myself, like, if I had never gotten tired and had to sit here, I wouldn't have been sitting here when they walked by with this injured boy or young adult man, and I would never have been able to help. And so that's what I mean by, like, God will use you for your weaknesses. Even despite your weaknesses, you still have value. So even if you're obese, even if, you know, you think you're ugly, even if you're too tall, even if your skin's too dark, no matter what it is, Allah can use you, and you have so much value to God you don't even understand. You're so loved, and you're living the greatest love story that was ever written. You know, the love story that Allah has for us and our creation, His creation, and being His creation is unmatched. I understand, especially as women, we can feel that we're not chosen, and that sucks. You know, I experienced that myself, not being chosen by a man. It crushes your soul. But, you know, biblical verse plug-in, you know, the Lord says we are His chosen people. We were especially selected by Him to be His people. Like, you will be my people and I will be your God. So you have to remember you're already chosen. God chose you, and, you know, who cares if God chooses you? Then who cares if one of these sons of Satan chooses you, aka these boys and men that be running around. So just remember that you do have value, even if the world says you don't. Like, you are not who the world says you are who God says you are. So just please remember that as I do my mascara. This like Stila huge gold tube mascara, I've been purchasing it for I think by now it's 10 years. I always wait till Christmas time when it goes on sale for $10 to $15, but it's the GOAT. It's the best to give you enhanced natural without doing the Spidey. I'll still wear false lashes, but hands down this is the best for if you, like right now, don't want to take the time on to put false lashes. Okay, alright, we're almost done with this eye thing, so I can get back to telling you about the journal. So, yes, now, speaking about love, what is your ladies' talk about love? Like, how has it been for you finding a partner? For me, because I do believe that I'm God's valuable property, and that we are a temple for the soul and the spirit that God put us in, I'm not out here spreading my legs for any man, any boy, nothing of that. So I am firmly in the you need to be married for it to me first. You know, if you want the milk, buy the cow. That's me. Yes, go ahead and make fun of me in the comments. I don't care. So it's been really hard because the men, they don't have any value for you unless your sex is on the table, unless your sex is a part of the deal and the agreement. They don't have any value. They don't see any benefit of talking to you, being in a relationship for you, unless they're getting, their wants and desires satisfied, which is crazy because I'm not looking at them for sex. Like, I'm looking at them for love, companionship, romanticism, a partner, a friend, with or without, having these sexual relations that should be saved for marriage. So that's what I've experienced, is that, if you're not going to spread your legs, these men won't give you a second glance, which is just really disgusting, but that's how it is. Alright, I did a simple eye look. Like, usually I'm here for quite a bit of time, but I feel like applying good mascara really finishes the look if you're not going to be applying, God help me, if you're not going to be applying false lashes. That is much so a necessary step. I'll move my keyboard out the way and then recall that what I'm looking for is not in here. But I might have another one down here. I apply 2 mascaras at least, like a volumizing fluffy mascara that's more dry, and then a tubing mascara that'll give you the length. Sometimes that does it for me. I think my Tarte tubing mascara is getting dry, which is a lovely product. I mean, 10 out of 10, I recommend the tubing mascara. I think I like it even more than my Stila Golden Million Lashes. I think it really does work as far as lengthening. So I definitely recommend the Tarte tubing mascara. My mom was so cute when I said, I'm like, well, is it a tubing mascara? She's like, well, this one comes in a tube. I'm like, Mom, that's not what that means. My mom's 66 now? Or no, she's 67. What year is it? It's 2025. So I can't do the math. So she's 66 or 67. So she's up there in, not up there in age, because 60s are still relatively young. I think it's like when you get to your mid 70s to early 80s is kind of when things start to truly fall apart. All right, we're in business. Oh, this was Lancome Big Monsieur. I do speak a little French, so let me pronounce that correctly. All right, let me put my glasses back on. Woot woot. Doo doo doo. These glasses are from Zelo, in case you're wondering. Okay, so minimum, hey, just a little. Alrighty, okay. So, Christian devotional journals provide structured reflection and guided prayer, and I wanted to create something similar for Muslims. This journal bridges the gap, combining Quran, Hadith, biblical verses, and offering a space for you to reflect and grow. So you just walk through, your emotional connection. So it's not a place just to reflection, it's to connect and just to plug in to the Lord. So we're looking for, or who this is designed for is kind of, Sarah, the busy buyer, and Yasmin, the stress shopper. So if you're overwhelmed with work and you barely have time for ibadah, this journal lets you reconnect in like 10 minutes or less. If you're feeling lost, stressed, or struggling with anxiety, this journal will provide hope, mindfulness, and a spiritual anchor. All right, so now we're doing a little glue the face on here. As you can see, I'm like recording long form and short form content in one take because homegirl has trying to launch a business and has to make a lot of content in order to get a sale. So yes, $5, very inexpensive. You can try out the journal. And what you do is on Etsy, it's a downloadable PDF. So you download the PDF after purchase, and what you do is I recommend Notability. You get that app, or you can use your Notes app and upload the PDF, and then you can just take a stylus, your regular, stylus for your iPad or iPhone, and write directly on top of the PDF with the stylus on the iPad, or iPhone's a little too small, or your Surface Pro, or whatever touchscreen device that you have. And it's really, really, really awesome when you get to do that. So we're gonna let this get tacky for a little bit. So that's what I would recommend. There's 52-ish entries, so ideally one for every week. There's about 49 that are pre-written, and then there's space for you at the end for you to add your own favorite 3 Quran verses and Hadith. So the idea is, through this journal you would build that connection with Allah, grow, and by the end of the year have discovered some of your own Quran verses and Hadith. I'm poking myself with this thing and it's not funny. For it, and I don't have my glasses on so I can't see. Okay. You'll have to let me know how that looks. Okay. Well, at least that gave us a little bit of time for that to get sticky and tacky. Alright. I guess I shouldn't have put face space on because I'm not going anywhere, so it doesn't matter if this stays glued on or it doesn't. You know what I mean? Okay. So what I do is when I don't have the sink wipe beauty blender, these things on Sephora, I've been finding them for like $10 and finding them in Marshalls. So woot woot, praise God for the final decrease in crazy expense. So what I then do is take some, what is it? Spray by that lady that everybody's obsessed with. There we go. I have a clear makeup bag, one of those nice ones. Mario Badescu skincare, so I have the rosewater one. I don't know, I just feel like if you're Arab, everything has to be rosewater. So spray, and then the wipe is wet, and then this will also dampen the wipe in the beauty blender. I just find this is the best way to dampen your beauty blender without having to go to the sink if the sink is too far, if it's occupied, or if you're trying to film a video and you're like, I ain't getting up. Guilty as charged. So I find this does the trick. Now, does it get it as damp as running it underneath the sink? No. Does it get it damp enough that you can do the job? Yeah, definitely. I'm putting a little extra just because you guys are watching, because I don't want things. And plus, my wipe was out a little too long while I pontificated. So, alright. And then, of course, nice and helps take off, the excess residue, so your beauty blender is a little cleaner. So, 10 out of 10. All good. Okay, since it's just you and I'm going to use some of the products that I don't necessarily love to do this thing. Okay. Which I want to do under eye or color correction. Let's do color correction, because I get you can kind of see it, the blue marks. So what I did was I mixed the LA Girl orange pigment with the LA Girl slightly tinted orange primer, and I put those two bad boys together in a small jar that is not going to be found now that I'm talking about it. So that just makes life so beautiful. Here it is. So I put those two things together in here, and because the pigment is truly pigment designed to mix into foundation, that's not the wrong color, or if you're a professional makeup artist, to mix it to get to your client's color. So it is way too strong to color correct with. So I find when I mix the two together in mostly equal parts, eyeballing the equal parts, it's the perfect part of opaqueness without being too opaque. So, and I use orange because my discoloration is blue-ish, but not excessively blue. If yours is excessively blue and thick and dark, you might have to go all the way up to red, potentially. Alright, so see how that kind of sort of looks better already, and we haven't put on any foundation. Alright, and don't forget, because when you get chubby, sometimes your chin kind of juts out weirdly. So what else can I tell you about me? There's just lots of things. So I really do hope that you join me on this journey. I hope that you check out the PDF. That's only $5. And that when the paperback, likes it, that you come out. Whatever your thoughts are about it, if they're positive or negative, if you it is what it is. It's not meant for everybody, and I made it that way purposely, because my thing is, you know, if everybody is just gonna love the perfect people, then, you know, who's gonna love the damaged, the damned, and the broken? Or yeah, the damaged, the damned, and the broken. So, and I feel like that's kind of really my calling, is to love and help the people that everybody else has like written off or forgotten about, or has, you know, just been like, oh, well, they're sinful, we're not going to deal with them, and blah 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 blah. So I don't know, I guess like my little gift that God gave me was just, you know, having a big heart and wanting to love people. And as I get older, I realize that that's not how everybody's built, especially Arab Muslims or Muslims in general. They're not the love thy neighbor type of people, and that's cool, you know, that's their deal, you know, but that's just not me. Alright, so we're looking at a stick by Juvia's Palace, a foundation stick for concealer. Again, usually I'll use the e.l.f. The e.l.f. for $5 is rocking it. It almost competes with my Tarte one. The only reason I would say my Tarte one is better is not because of wearing or longevity. The e.l.f. wears very well and doesn't crease. I would say I prefer the Tarte better because it's the exact color that I like for highlighting my face. It's the exact shade that I like to have. And then we'll do a little bit of underpainting as far as getting these little areas. Okay, should we do a little contour? I think I'm running out of contour is the issue. Like, I purchased like an Anastasia Beverly Hills one, and did that work, y'all? Oh, it could help if it wasn't upside down. Anyways, super stiff and very, very, very dark. But I purchased it at Marshalls or something like that. So what I'm going to do is take my foundation, which I think this foundation color is actually a little too dark for me. I think I have to get the other one. Let me see. And I forget which one is the lighter, which one is the darker. I think Punta Cana is the darker. Okay. So I'm going to grab a little bit of this guy. I'm going to squeeze him into the pan. Oh, you didn't see that, but take this, squeeze into there. Capiche? Capiche. Alright, then we're going to grab our tool, desired tool for face contouring, whatever your desired or frequented tool is. Which the tool that I would like, I am not finding, which is not okay. But, you know, here we are. This guy is good for noses, not really good for anything else. Anyway, so take this, take that, mixy, 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 and this is trying to get the contour to be a little bit lighter. I got the lightest one that Marshalls or TJ Maxx had. It's just super dark and it's very stiff, so it doesn't blend. But if you're trying to look for something that's going to stay all day, well, that might be what you're looking for, is something that's stiff, that's not gonna, you know, move. And then because I have my headscarf on, I'm going to do something I usually don't do, which is apply this. Why did I take my glasses off? Apply this and blend. Lord, oh no, it's too late. I think we got it by accident. Okay, yep, we definitely did get it, so that was not okay. And make sure you're kind of thinking about where you're blending out your product. Don't just blend it haphazardly across your face, even though that's kind of what is happening. So that's why I do contour first and then do my foundation, so that way if I made any mishaps with the contour, I can always go back and just cover it up with whatever foundation that I'm going to use. This, I guess, either maybe it's the foundation that I mixed in or it's the contour, seems to be having a red undertone, which is fine for me because I naturally have a red undertone to my face, so there's no big deal. Okay. Boop, mommy's home. Hi, Mom. I'm good. How was your day? Yay! Thank you. Alright, so clean off. Ooh, see how bad that looks? Okay, we're gonna fix that. Okay. So first we'll fix this issue. Yeah, so I would not recommend the Anastasia contour, bronze, whatever they want to call it, because it is not the business. As we're seeing by the fact that this is going to get real crazy real fast. Okay. Alright, next, some foundation. So what I'm showing you right now is not like the routine I would wear for going out. It's just because I would have to do more steps that would ensure that things would wear well and not fade, and I'm not doing any of that. So take it with a grain of salt that this is just for looks. It's not for you know, all day wear. So yeah, so this is what you call it. This is the Juvia's one, and so it's hard because my skin has such a, I'm not gonna say weird undertone because I'm not gonna, you know, hate on my body like that. The issue is people they don't really make foundations for like that orange undertone that's like borderline red, but not really. You know, there's not really that many African American people walking around, so it's a hard color. And I think a lot of the African Americans who have like one Arab parent that are biracial, they took over black features, and my features came out more on the Arab side just because my father's family's genes are very strong. We all look alike. It's really beautiful. I love having a family that looks alike, don't get me wrong. It's definitely good. Let me just double check that we're still filming. I don't know how to do that. I'm just gonna have to go on faith. Okay. Alright, as we can see, this whatchamacallit is not the right tone, this bronzer, but we're gonna make work. We're gonna make it work. Yes we are. Yes we are. We're gonna make it work. Okay. That works out for me. How about you? Does that work out for you guys? I hope so. Okay, now I need to take a little under eye powder, if I can remember which one was the yellow and which one was not the yellow. Yeah, is this a true conundrum? Yep. Does it happen regularly? Enough for me to do something about it? Nope. Just gonna keep it 100. Like as I say, keep it 100. Alright, so this is Morphe, like under eye banana powder. It's way too dry, unless you have it really, really, really. I have a combination, but I'm not really oily on my cheeks. Okay, this I'm gonna have to blend out just a smidgen. I'm looking for a big fluffy brush. Real Techniques brushes are decent. The most nice brush I've gotten is from Morphe, so I've never gotten Sigma brushes, so I can't tell you oh God, help me, Allah. I can't tell you if the Sigma brushes and whatnot are worth the splurge. But I guess if you go on Poshmark or whatever, oh my hijab is on. I said if you go on Poshmark or whatever, I guess it would be like worth it. Oh, I did not just put makeup on my scarf because I did. Okay. Alright, that's that. Alright, take this. Some excess fell on my hand. I can't show you. So I'm just going to take that and put it over here, even though this is lightning powder. Or not lightning, but banana. You want to be like Bernie Mac? Come say hi to America. Okay, so now time for a little bit of blush, for which I'm just going to use eyeshadow for. Just mix. Do a little bit of that. So for blush placement, it's gonna vary based off of who you are and what you're trying to accomplish and how your cheeks are set up. Because I have really fat cheeks, I like to put it on the cheekbone in order to cut down my cheek mass. But like my mom has very narrow and very, you know, thin cheeks. They're not full of fat. So hers I place right here in order to draw more attention there, but for me I like to do it to the side. Okay, maybe we should put some under eye sparkle, but I don't know what sparkle is something else. It's enough thinking. Okay, whatever. There we go. How bad did everything come out? Well, we're rolling. Okay. Alright, so let's do a recap while we place some lipstick. Alright, and this is just the Urban Decay in Uptight. Gotta love some Urban Decay lipstick. Again, got it like 2 or 3 Christmases ago on sale. Okay, so I'm just gonna put in a little bit of gold plumper on. So I got the list of my Arab side and my dad's family, which is no problem. I'm fine with how I look. I'm grateful for it. Alright, so first let's put on a little bit of gold and see what that does. And again, you just want to emphasize like the high points of your face or of your lips. Okay, did that give me the necessary look that I wanted? Yeah, that works. Maybe just put a smidge more. This is how the problems start. Just a little bit more. Just a little bit more. And then before you know it, there's glitter on the floor. Right? Right. Well, I know how these things work. I know. I was once young too. Okay, perfect. Nice. Okay, great. Alright, so to recap for today, we discussed Plug into Allah, our mindfulness journal for Christian reverts and for non-praying Muslims. This is for if you're busy, you're stressed, you're in grad school, you're working full-time, you just feel the post-Ramadan slump, you want to get back into your spirituality, you're not able to make it to the mosque, or you feel like your salah is not being connected. Plug into Allah is the journal for you. The PDF, the $5 sample, is already available on Etsy on the store Islam for the Rest of Us. And The paperback version, the manuscript is off to be approved by Amazon, and hopefully by the end of May the paperback version will be available on Amazon for $15. It's 55 pages, 52 weeks of reflection, growing, spirituality, comfort, stress management, relieving anxiety, all those wonderful things. So I'm Yazo, and I will see you in our next video together. Take care. Bye bye.